Attention, Eagles fans. The energy is electric behind the scenes in Philadelphia, and things are heating up fast as we get closer to the new season. Big decisions are already in motion. Howie Roseman is running the show, locking in every detail to keep the Eagles at the top of the NFL. Winning the Super Bowl was incredible, but doing it again takes even more focus, grit, and precision. Nick Sirianni and his squad are putting in the work, determined to take this team all the way once more. And honestly, with the talent we've got on this roster and the elite structure around them, I truly believe we're heading to Super Bowl 60. If you're feeling that same confidence, smash that like button and drop a comment. Go Birds! I believe the Philadelphia Eagles are entering training camp with the weight of expectations befitting defending Super Bowl champions and a roster that ESPN just ranked as the second best in the NFL, behind only the Baltimore Ravens. That alone has sent a ripple of reactions throughout the fan base and media circles. But here's where things get interesting. Despite being the reigning champs, the Eagles are being somewhat overlooked in these early projections. So let's break down what's real, what's hype, and what Eagles fans should keep their eyes on as camp begins. Starting with what ESPN calls the team's biggest strength, offensive tackle. It's hard to argue. The Eagles are boasting arguably the best tackle duo in football, with Jordan Mailata on the left and Lane Johnson on the right. Mailata is coming off back-to-back top-graded years from Pro Football Focus in both pass and run block win rates, and Lane Johnson, even at age 35, hasn't lost a step. He's still ranking in the top 10 at his position. Johnson himself recently said he feels like he's just entering his peak, which is exactly what you want to hear from your veteran cornerstone. That offensive line isn't just good, it's deep, with players like Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, and promising names like Tyler Steen, and even backup tackles Kendall Lamb, Cameron Williams, Miles Hinton, and Holland Pierce. This group is one of the best in the league. It's no surprise that other teams might start making calls to Howie Roseman as injuries arise across the league in the coming weeks. But it's not all sunshine. ESPN also highlighted what they believe is the team's biggest weakness, the edge rusher group. And yeah, it's fair. Losing Josh Sweat in free agency, Brandon Graham to retirement, and trading away Bryce Huff left a massive hole. That puts a lot of weight on the shoulders of Nolan Smith and Jalen Hunt, both talented but still unproven commodities at this level. Hunt did show up big late last season, enough to push Huff out of the rotation, even leaving him a healthy scratch in the Super Bowl. That's not something to overlook. The Eagles tried to patch the position with some interesting veteran additions like Azeez Ojulari and Josh Uche.
Ojulari has flashed high-level ability before, including a double-digit sack season, but staying healthy has been an issue. Uche has gotten praise from inside the locker room, including Lane Johnson, who mentioned his burst and bend. But again, these are what-ifs. That's why the Eagles continue to be linked to potential edge rushers and trade rumors. The room is potential, but we haven't seen it consistently on the field yet. ESPN's choice for the team's biggest X factor also centers around the offensive line, right guard in particular. With Mekhi Becton leaving in free agency, the door is wide open for Tyler Steen to step up. This is a make-or-break year for him. Last season, injuries held him back and Becton took over. But now it's his job to lose, and he'll be flanked by Cam Jurgens and Lane Johnson, giving him the best possible support to succeed. Steen was originally a tackle at Alabama and Vanderbilt and tested well in the pre-draft process. While his early pro grades weren't stellar, his size, athleticism, and the coaching of Jeff Stoutland put him in position to succeed. If he doesn't win the job this time, that's a real concern. But interestingly, ESPN didn't even list Steen as the projected starter at right guard. That spot went to Matt Pryor, a name that surprised a lot of people. Pryor was originally drafted by the Eagles, bounced to the Colts, and most recently played for the Bears, where he graded out decently on a weak offensive line. The concern here is upside. You know what you're getting with Pryor, a steady but limited player. Steen has much more potential. If he can clean up his inconsistencies, something Jason Kelce mentioned about his game, he could be a long-term solution on that line. Let's move to the defensive side of the ball. At defensive tackle, there are no surprises. Jalen Carter, Moro Ojomo, and Jordan Davis anchor a strong interior. Ojomo is seen as the replacement for Milton Williams, and early indicators are that he could actually be an upgrade. At edge, we're back to Nolan Smith and Jalen Hunt, with all eyes on their development. At linebacker, Zach Bond leads the unit after an all-pro campaign. But ESPN lists Nakobe Dean next to him, and that's where it gets tricky. Dean is coming off a torn patellar tendon in January. The recovery is grueling and long. There's a very real chance he won't be ready by week 1. That opens the door for Jeremiah Trotter Jr. or rookie Jihad Campbell to slide in. If the team doesn't make a move in free agency, it'll be one of these two young players taking the starting reps alongside Bond. Trotter Jr. is entering year 2, Campbell year 1. We've already seen off-season workout clips of Campbell working alongside Andrew Mukuba, doing rip drills and showing progress with his shoulder recovery. That's an encouraging sign. Now to the secondary, another big focal point heading into camp. Quentin Mitchell is locked in as CB1, but ESPN has Adoree Jackson starting opposite him instead of Khalil Ringo. That's a major camp battle to watch. Ringo has the physical tools, 6 feet 2 inches, 200 plus pounds, elite speed, but his playing time has been inconsistent. When he's been on the field, he's flashed. If Jackson falters, it's Ringo's job to take. At slot corner, Cooper DeJean might be the most exciting young piece. He transformed the defense last season after being inserted into the lineup following the bye week. His versatility and athleticism give the Eagles options and a real chance at locking down that nickel spot. And at safety, the other big question is who starts next to Reed Blankenship. Right now, ESPN projects it'll be rookie Andrew Mukuba. He had the lowest passer rating allowed among safeties in college football last year, and even though he's a bit undersized, he has ball skills, instincts, and toughness. Vic Fangio, the new defensive coordinator, said it might take multiple preseason games and training camp practices to figure out the corner and safety rotations. So expect fluidity there. But the ceiling for this group is very high if the young players can deliver. So here's the question. With all this young talent and some high-stakes positional battles underway, do you trust the Eagles' youth movement to carry the team through another championship run? Let me know what you think about that in the comments. Let's continue this breakdown with a deeper look into how the Eagles front office, particularly Howie Roseman, has once again laid the groundwork for a roster that's not only built to win now, but also built to sustain success over the next several years. This 2025 squad isn't just stacked with stars, it's layered with depth, potential, and versatility. Take the offensive side of the ball. Jalen Hurts, coming off an MVP performance in the Super Bowl, is surrounded by elite weaponry. Saquon Barkley returns as the reigning offensive player of the year. A.J. Brown, still one of the most dominant receivers in the league and continuing his all-pro form. And then there's DeVonta Smith, arguably the best WR2 in football. His precise route running, speed, and ability to create separation gives this offense the kind of flexibility that only a handful of NFL teams can replicate. ESPN also pointed out the rising presence of Jahan Dotson. He's not going to be a stat monster simply because he's playing behind Brown, Smith, Dallas Goedert, and Barkley, but coming off a strong spring, his role is expanding. As WR3, he brings another layer to an already dangerous offense. Speaking of Goedert, his return on a restructured deal helps solidify the tight end group. Grant Calcaterra remains a reliable backup, not the blocker that Goedert is, but a dangerous pass catcher and athlete. That group, combined with Hurts' ability to run, makes this team almost impossible to defend when they're clicking. But the offensive line remains a point of emphasis. While 4 out of 5 spots seem locked in Mailata, Dickerson, Juergens, and Johnson, the right guard position is still open. ESPN's choice of Matt Pryor